Well, boys, Sony showed off that they do have games and they do look somewhat fun.
These days it's not about collecting cans of cream corn and childish platforming. Now it's all DLC and microtransactions and you. Do you want a chicken nugget?
And they also showed off that they don't just have single player games, but they also have, a couple multiplayer games as well. And to be honest, one of the ones that I actually was looking forward to is kind of getting just absolutely bombed with dislikes with this reveal trailer. The game that I was looking forward to was Concord because it was going to be a first person shooter from Sony. That's something that for some reason they stopped doing. Like, they used to do some cool first person shooters. Anyone remember Killzone? Like, I get it, the last one wasn't anything to write home about, but still, first person shooter games should 100% be in Sony's lineup, but for some reason they only have third person action adventure games. But they finally revealed Concord, and it is a hero shooter. Yep, boys, they decided, you know what, maybe we should come after Overwatch's throne. I haven't seen a more blatant play to come after Overwatch in my life, but Concord is trying their best to do it. Now, does the game and the gameplay look awful, just outright degenerate, worthy of the 35,000 dislikes the reveal trailer has? Hell no, it looks like a pretty decent game. It doesn't look bad at all. It doesn't look like it's actually going to at least die within the next year or two like Overwatch did whenever they stopped putting in new heroes. God, that was the worst thing Blizzard could ever do. Stop updating Overwatch. That game would still be at least somewhat highly regarded if they just kept updating Overwatch. But yeah, Concord doesn't look bad. The gameplay doesn't look horrendous, but it does look, reminiscent of something else, Overwatch. With a little bit of Destiny 2 sprinkled in there. They're really mixing it up here. And also, you get a little bit of Valorant flair here and there. It looks like a well put together game. But, in my opinion, we'll have to see whenever the game actually comes out. The reveal gameplay trailer did look good. The cinematic trailer that they did, it looked great, but I don't know how I feel about the characters just yet. They're gonna have to flesh out the universe a little bit more before I actually sink any amount of time into the lore. I don't actually know what I thought this was gonna be. I kind of wanted it to be more like a Payday style of game, but we'll have to see whenever the game actually comes out what it actually is. But we know it's something to do with a hero shooter. Now moving on, they also revealed that they're gonna be putting out God of War Ragnarok on PC. But they can't upload the single player game of God of War Ragnarok to Steam without any kind of controversy because for some reason, Sony really wants to be pushing PSN. I don't understand why they keep trying to push PSN on PC players, especially in single player games. It makes no sense. With Ghost of Tsushima, I guess I could technically see why you would need a PSN or why Sony would want you to have a PSN because, there's an actual multiplayer part to it, but this is a single player game. For some reason, Sony wants PC players to make a PSN account just to play single player games. This isn't even part of the Sony ecosystem at this point. This is literally them just trying to be like, hey man, we're allowing you to play this game on your hardware and your system, but we gotta at least track you a little bit whenever you're playing the game. Come on, man, sign up, give us your details. You can't just give us the $70 for the game. No, we want all your details also. Please, what's your social security number? That's exactly how it feels for somebody to be like, hey, man, I see you like playing that single player game you just bought from us. That $70 is just not enough. We have to also sell your data. We can't just be normal human beings over here. We have to be somewhat creepy. So yeah, that's the controversy with God of War Ragnarok coming to PC. A lot of people are like, yes! And then they realize, fuck! I live in one of the 170 countries that also doesn't allow PSN, so I can't play the game unless you use a VPN. But that could also get your PSN account banned, which would take away the single player game.
I love stealing. I love taking things.
You're not even cheating. You gave them money and are not even affecting them in a bad way, and they still could take your game away from you just because you used a VPN. But moving on from the two most controversial games that Sony showed off in their state of play, Silent Hill 2 remake. Hey man, I don't play horror games. The last time I played one on stream was oh my god, I was terrified. The chat loved it, but Anytime they asked me to play any other horror game, it was an automatic no, because I'm a pussy when it comes down to horror games. But to the people that love it, hey man, good for you. I might watch someone play it like I usually do with horror games. I don't know who yet. Maybe a Markiplier, maybe someone else. But hopefully the game will be good whenever it comes out. It's another single player game. Hopefully if it ever comes to PC, you don't need a PSN account, but you never know. Sony also showed off that they're going to try to turn the Astro Bot game that they made to basically show off the PS5 controller into maybe an actual series, because he's getting another standalone game, which I'm all game for, because for some reason no one is using any of the cool technology inside of the PS5 controller. Like, please games, let me use the adaptive triggers. Why don't you allow me to use them? Why are there so many games coming out with like nothing to do with this controller that are exclusive to PS5? I would assume that Sony would have in a contract that you should use some type of new feature on the controller because there's so many good PS5 games out there that just don't use the technology, and they're exclusive to PS5. They're not developing the game for any other console or even PC. So I'm just sitting here like, why would I even want to play this game if it doesn't even use the new technology? Like, I bought this $500 toy and only half of it's being used. So I'm happy that Astro Bot is getting another game, because I played the first one way too many times just to actually use the controller's features. So if they turn this into the Mario of Sony, I'm game for it. I'll be picking up the next Astro Bot if it's any good. I'm waiting for the reviews because my broke ass can't buy shit right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, boys. Sony also showed off a new Dynasty Warrior game. I don't really play Dynasty Warrior games, so everyone that says that they love Dynasty Warriors kind of like the look of this one. So boys, look at it. Yeah, all right, now let's move on to a real game, Monster Hunter Wilds. Now this is something that I would play. Oh, it looks beautiful. It looks amazing. It looks actually fun. This is the only other game, other than, in my opinion, Concord, that I'm actually thinking about picking up day one. Sony also showed off that they're bringing back Until Dawn for the PS5. I never played it. I watched people play Until Dawn. It's a pretty funny game. Less horror-y, more on the, these are some dumbass teenagers lost in the woods for some reason, and there's a killer out there kind of thing. More of almost like an interactive slasher movie. But, if you like that, get some friends and, play the game. I would suggest it. Now, I've never played it myself, alright? I can't attest to the actual gameplay itself. I never held the controller in my hands while watching someone play it, but it was a fun time still. Sony also showed off two pretty cool VR games, which I'm just saying, I still probably am not going to be picking up a PSVR. Too expensive. I mean, like, it costs the same amount as literally the console itself. And barely has games itself. Like, the PS5 doesn't have games. The PSVR 2 really doesn't have games. But this new Alien game does look pretty good, and it's swaying me. It's starting to turn me around on the whole concept of VR on the PS5. But I'm still skeptical. I'm not really trying to spend $600 to be like, I got a headache. I'm in pain. Also, Skydance Behemoth also looks like a pretty good PSVR 2 game. It looks great. It looks solid, alright? It's not bad. I am actually thinking about picking up a PSVR 2, and it's still like in my head saying, don't do it. Please don't do it. We know we're not going to be playing no VR for that long. But I still kind of want to pick it up because these two games look pretty great. But boys, those are the games from the state of play that I actually had interest in. There was a couple more, but in my opinion, I didn't care about them. Like Marvel's Rivals, I feel like that looked pretty decent, but I don't know. It's just, Overwatch with Marvel characters. Since it's a free-to-play game, I'm 100% gonna at least give it a try. That's my whole policy around here. And I know I'm gonna enjoy Marvel's Rivals more than this $500 Faker skin for League of Legends. Click this video right here to find out what is Riot Games thinking.